So we're going to do the M-check for a mountain bike. And the M-check is so called because all you do, rather than remembering everything you need to check, you just write an M and check everything you need to that you pass on the way. So we're going to go from the centre of the front wheel up to the handlebars, then all the way down to the pedals, from there up to the saddle, and then down to the centre of the back wheel, writing an M. We're just going to check everything on the way, so we'll start with the front quick release, make sure that that's tight and secure. We can adjust it if necessary by turning the nut one way to tighten it and one way to loosen it. We can position the quick release out of the way so it isn't going to get knocked. From there, making sure that the brakes haven't been used and the disc isn't hot, we're just going to check that the rotor is nice and tight and also the caliper is tight and not loose. From there, all the way up to the front wheel, and here we're going to check the tyre pressure, making sure there's some air in the tyre, that there's some tread on the tyre, and that the wheel is secure by pulling the wheel from side to side. If it goes round without the brakes rubbing, that's a bonus. That's always useful. And then the headset. So this is the bearing that helps you steer. So if you turn the handlebar sideways and the front wheel sideways, put the front brake on and rock the bike backwards and forwards. This removes any knocking from the fork and concentrates it just on the headset. You can put your hand over the top headset bearing just to see if there's any knocking there. From there we're going to check the handlebars and make sure they're secure, so put the front wheel between your legs and just twist the handlebars slightly, and check the brakes are correctly positioned so they're not going to pull all the way back to the handlebars. That is too loose and they're not going to work. Checking both brakes is important, and also that the handlebars have bar end plugs in. So we've done all the way up to the handlebars. Now we're going to check the cables and everything on the way down to the pedals. Check the bottle cage is secure, and then we're going to check the pedals and the bottom bracket in one swoop. We can do the pedals by pulling them from side to side and the bottom bracket at the same time. Check that the pedals go round, and from there we're going to go up to the saddle and make sure the saddle isn't going to twist or slip. We're then going to go down and repeat the same as we did on the front wheel from the back wheel. So we're going to check some tyre pressure, we're going to check there's some tread on the tyre, and the rear wheel goes round without rubbing on the brakes. From there we're going to go down to the centre of the wheel and look at the rear mech. If the rear mech goes into the spokes, that can be disastrous, so we're just going to put the gear into the biggest sprocket and push the rear mech. If it moves into the spokes, then that needs adjusting. From there we'll check the rear brake caliper and the rear rotor, again making sure the rotor isn't hot because we've not braked on it. And then lastly the quick release, making sure that's tight. From there we know the bike is safe and we're all ready to ride. Off we go!